We are leaving this anchorage, which just a few days ago looked like a winter wonderland, but now the temperatures are climbing back up, and you know what that means. Yep. Today we're gonna continue winter sailing towards Alaska, and our journey north we will be going into the Johnstone Strait, which is a really infamous stretch of the inside passage to Alaska. The problem is that today the weather forecast is actually it's a storm warning, winds 40 to 50 knots, but it has been like a gale warning the last 4 or 5 days that we have been in this area, and we haven't really seen winds as big as forecast. We're gonna give it a try, at least go and see what it looks like. Vähän sumuista.
Muisteluvuorien Veikka.
Aika jännä, kun tässä ei tule yhtään, tuolla pitäisi tulla 20 metriä sekunnissa.
No ehkä sielläkään ei ole.
Ehkä se on vaan huijausta.
Missä sun kontapiiri on?
Se on tuolla konvehtirasiassa.
Mikä?
Konvehtirasiassa.
Joo, kontapiiri.
Liian paljon. So much of this crap, it's not possible to go around. Just try to dodge the biggest ones. We have really high tides right now, and I guess that's why we have so much driftwood. It's just, again, a pretty crazy amount. We are dodging driftwood all the time.
Niin, aika jännän näköisiä puita. Jotka tulee vaan tuolta päin ilmeisesti kesällä. Niin vaan toispuoleisesti.
Storm warning 40 to 50 knots in Johnstone Strait, which is where we are now. But I don't know if it's maybe a little bit further out towards the sea where you have that amount of wind. I checked the weather stations before kind of committing to the channel, and the most that the weather stations along the channel are showing is like 15 to 20 knots. Right now over here we have maybe 6 or 8 knots, so nothing really. The storm never materialized, and let's be real here, not every day out on the water is all that interesting. But listening to the steady hum of the engine and staring into the unending grayness does have this kind of a meditative effect. Luckily, our next day in the Johnstone Strait arrived as sunny, beautiful, and appropriately windy. Seven and a half knots under sail, so that's not too bad. We are pushing 9 knots every now and then with the current, and we are actually now past the worst section of the strait, so we are past the points where the current can get really ugly, especially if it's against the wind. But that's all done now, and I think it's kind of a recurring theme with these tidal currents is that if you just time them right, then you won't really have problems. We arrived to Port Neville, a very special place that I'll tell you about in just a second. But first we have an equally special opportunity to enjoy the abnormally warm weather. Mikäs siellä on?
Mulla on ensimmäinen kansiruokailu varmaan.
Norwegian settler Hans Hansen rode up the coast in 1891, and once he saw this place, he knew that it was where he wanted to stay. This location was permanently inhabited by the Hansen family all the way to 2010. They did logging and operated a post office, a fuel depot, and a small store here. It used to be the center of the small community around this area, and it's still privately owned by the Hansen family, but the government wharf is free to use and visitors are allowed to roam the area. You can get a glimpse of what it could have been like to live here, building all of this from the scratch, with primitive tools and very little support. Being one of the very few protected bays along the Johnstone Strait, I imagine this area also must have been important for the First Nations before the colonization. But sadly, we couldn't really find much information about it. After checking out the buildings, we decided to take a small walk in the forest, where we of course found something interesting. This here, by the way, is grizzly bear poop, I'm pretty sure. This time of the year the bears are hibernating, so there's a very small chance that you'll run into one. Anyway, we decided to take back to the sea and head to Sointula, a place with some Finnish history. Last day in the Johnstone Strait, and there is someone else sailing as well. The first sailboat with sails hoisted that we've seen since probably Columbia River, so like almost 2 months ago or something. And they are also going upwind, so that's a double whammy. Sointula literally means a place of harmony. This place has a lot of Finnish history, but I don't want to turn this into a history lesson, so I'll just leave you with these morals, including this excellent poem. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye bye.